Hello, this is DoQuoi and welcome back. Today's hot topic discussion is what is the east wind of heaven? In scripture, we see it talks about the four winds of heaven. Today, we're going to specifically hone in on one spiritual weapon that you can utilize called the east wind of heaven. And we can look in Exodus chapter 10. Exodus 10, verses 12 to 14. The New Living Translation says, "Then the Lord said to Moses, raise your hand over the land of Egypt to bring on the locusts. Let them cover the land and devour every plant that survived the hailstorm." So Moses raised his staff over Egypt, and the Lord caused an east wind to blow over the land all that day and through the night. When morning arrived, the east wind had brought the locusts, and the locusts swarmed over the whole land of Egypt, settling in dense swarms from one end of the country to the other. It was the worst locust plague in Egyptian history, and there has never been another one like it. So we see again, God told Moses to raise his staff to cause the east wind of heaven to blow. So again, it's a spiritual weapon that we can utilize against the enemy. The east wind of heaven brings destruction. The east wind of heaven can bring plagues upon our wicked enemies, those demons who are trying to attack you, witches, warlocks, souls who are trying to take you out, who's trying to destroy you, who's trying to stop us from moving forward into our destiny. So this weapon of warfare known as the east wind of heaven is very destructive. It's strong. So when you're in warfare, you're praying and you're warring against the enemy, you can say, I call for the east wind of heaven to blow away the plans of my wicked enemies, to blow away whatever traps enemies try to put in my path. I call for the east wind of heaven to blow. So if you want to bring destruction upon your enemy, destruction upon the plans of your wicked enemies, send the east wind of heaven. That you see in this passage, it brought locusts. It brought a plague of locusts that was the worst in Egyptian history, all from the east wind of heaven. So that's the exact same thing you can do upon your wicked enemy. You can send a plague of locusts in the realm of the spirit and cause for the east wind of heaven to bring forth those locusts upon those demons who are trying to attack you, who's trying to stop you, who's trying to stop your family, who's trying to harm you, who's trying to set you back, who's trying to stop every promise that God has spoken over your life. Again, you send the east wind of heaven. It brings destruction. Not only does it bring destruction, also bring God's judgment. The east wind of heaven can bring God's judgment against your wicked enemies. So again, you send the east wind of heaven to bring plagues upon your wicked enemies. East wind of heaven to bring God's judgment, to bring God's wrath. And also, another thing that you use the east wind of heaven for is to dry things up. If you need something dried up in your life, call for the east wind of heaven to blow. So certain things the enemy's trying to drown you in, etc. You can send the east wind to dry that thing up, right? And also, it's also a demonstration of the power of God, because the east wind of heaven is a weapon that God's given us access to use. It also demonstrates God's power. It also brings miracles, because that same east wind that blew is also that brought the plague. Is also God also used that east wind to even dry up some things, so to speak. And so again, you have that ability again to use the east wind of heaven. And we can look even a little further. Exodus 14 and 21. Then Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the Lord opened up a path through the water with a strong east wind. The wind blew all that night, turning the seabed into dry land. So the people of Israel walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground with walls of water on each side. So again, the east wind of heaven also dries things up. It dried up the water so that the children of Israel could walk through on dry land. So again, that's the power of the east wind. Again, you want to bring destruction upon your wicked enemies who is trying to come up against you, who's trying to attack you, who's trying to destroy you, who's trying to kill you. Send for the east wind of heaven to blow. You want God's judgment to come upon your wicked enemies? Send for the east wind of heaven to blow. You want to demonstrate God's power? Again, send the east wind of heaven to blow. You want miracles? Again, you can send the east wind of heaven to blow. That also brings miracle, because again, all these weapons that God has given us access to, we just have to use it. And so the east wind of heaven is one weapon that you can employ in your arsenal when it comes to spiritual warfare. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and be sure to subscribe, share with your family and friends. Until next time, this is DoQuoi sign out. See you soon.